He was drinking some water. Like I said, yo, make sure you drink some water. He was drinking some water out of a lake and then stands and looks at the sky.
Cooler's Revenge, where while fighting robots, we see Piccolo
ore farming into the sky, y'all. All right, y'all. Today we have the ore farming prince. We got Piccolo. Now, how much ore does this nigga have? Let's check it out.
His spirit energy is so strong, I can actually see his aura.
Wait, was this actually said? Was this actually said? Wait, wait. Original Dragon Ball. Original Dragon Ball. It's a possibility.
Energy is so strong.
Ugh.
I can actually see his aura.
I can actually see his aura. Oh my god, the cape flowing.
So if you've spent any time in the anime
Real
community online,
nigga.
You would know what the recently coined term aura farming means.
Yes, sir.
If you somehow
Sungjin
don't,
Woo.
It basically just means someone doing something for the explicit purpose of looking cool. Aura basically being a numeric value for how many cool points you have. So someone with a lot of aura is, of course, very
We got, what's that nigga's name? Aizen, Gojo? I haven't watched Bleach, my bad. Jinwoo, and Madara Uchiha. Okay.
Among the popular
The most auraful
anime
niggas.
history, very few can contend with our very own Piccolo from Dragon Ball.
Throw it at the glass. Yes, sir.
The attack names, the dramatic entrance. Every move Piccolo makes is calculated to gain the max possible aura in any given circumstance. So in this video,
I can almost swear that Akira Toriyama's favorite character has to be Piccolo with the way that he's ore farming, bro.
I'm going to put a number
I swear.
on that aura. Essentially, we're going to go through all of Piccolo's appearances in the story and either increase or decrease his aura based on each scene.
Nah, I can't let this one slide, bro. What the hell is Piccon doing down there? I get Nail all the way over in the right corner, but Piccon, bro? You're racist. What is that? What is that, y'all?
So,
oh
at the end
god.
of this video, we can finally quantify exactly how much aura Piccolo truly has.
And you got the fucking Dennis main picture on there.
The way I'm going to score here is I'll grade each moment on our patented aura scale from 1 to 100. So starting out, in Dragon Ball episode 123, Piccolo is hatched, and the first thing he does is burn down the house of an elderly couple that tried to help him. Honestly, kinda cringe. In episode 124, we see baby Piccolo watching a happy family from their window. Yes, I'm literally covering everything. Feeling jealous, he ruins the kid's birthday party, trashing their house. Then, while running away from their dog, he trips before accidentally firing a ki blast at the dog. Gonna be honest, guys, this is a pretty negative aura moment.
He killed a dog or a oh my god.
Attacking a dog?
Minus 10, minus 10, minus 50.
Looking at this, it's hard to believe this guy will go on to be the king of aura. But that's
wild.
Most kids
actually wild.
They'll have time to recover.
Bar hopping tonight?
Damn, oh wait.
Get a free ride
ads?
with your buddies.
Nigga, I have YouTube Premium. What? Pause this shit, bro.
Most kids don't have aura.
Alright. I fixed it.
We see the
bro, I was about to be pissed off, bro. I got a YouTube Premium. Hell no. Hell no.
By some park rangers. Seeing they have guns, Piccolo can't resist the urge to bend it. Stops the other guy's bullets mid-air. Definitely a plus aura moment. Then, in episode 126, we see Piccolo casually walking across the ocean, catch a fish with a flick of his finger, casually kill some sailors looking at him funny, then eat his fish raw. Bro has seemingly learned the ways of aura quickly. And with that, we transition to the
eating a fish raw? I don't know about that one, bro.
Before the tourney, Piccolo arrives, and we see a boy and his mother about to be crushed by debris. But Piccolo snipes it out of the air, then hits his first ever aura farming pose on him. He casually...
Even as a bad guy, bro. Even as a bad guy, bro was like, let me go ahead and save him for the pose.
However, not wanting to come across as too nice, he casually stomps on the kid's toy on his way out. Masterful entrance from the king. Following that, the next day during the prelims, Piccolo engages Goku in a standoff.
That's crazy.
Exchanged. The standoff was all Piccolo needed to do to let Goku know he's come for his run back, shifting to a smirk before walking off. This is also, of course, when we need to discuss the iconic fit. He wears a sleeveless martial arts gi,
sir.
He's ready to throw down on a moment's notice. But of course we know the secret to true aura comes from his cape. Large shoulders granting him an imposing silhouette, while also granting him a passive aura buff in windy environments.
Why? So what is the plus 30, plus 70? How does he know the amount per each item?
And
or per
I would
each
have never
farm?
thought a turbid was particularly cool before this.
I don't know.
But it perfectly complements his cape, while also incorporating the purple from his gi. all brought together with his traditional Namekian Jordans. For most of the main tournament,
his traditional Namekian Jordans, bro.
Jordans, also incorporating the purple from his gi, all brought together with his traditional Namekian Jordans. For most of the main tournament,
hell no.
On the roof of the training building, as all good aura farmers know to take the high ground. Finally getting into his first proper fight, he descends onto the battlefield. Krillin puts up a respectable fight, but eventually he asserts dominance by faking Krillin out several times with his cape. In the next fight, Kami tries to trap Piccolo with the Mafua, which would have worked on his father, but this Piccolo has way too much aura to be contained. Already preparing for such an event with a countermeasure to turn the technique back on Kami. That takes us into the grand finale, where Piccolo reveals the true purpose of his cape, the traditional shonen technique of throwing away an outer piece of clothing to signify that you intend to fight seriously. They go blow for a while, but eventually Piccolo threatens the crowd to stop Goku from avoiding his attack, which I would consider a pretty negative aura move. Such a tactic implies he isn't confident that his attack would hit normally, and as you know, aura and
lack of self-confidence.
After that, they continue to go blow for blow in what might be the most intense battle in the series. Ultimately, Piccolo's defeated. And defeat is of course minus aura, but Piccolo's performance during this fight was more than admirable, so I think he maintains his aura here. Taking us into Dragon Ball Z. Or does it? I said I'm
minus aura from lack of confidence.
We open on Piccolo
actually insane, yo.
He really gets jumped by the entire villain squad. Bro did not put up a fight, and gets folded instantly. However, he does return for his run back later on, accompanied by his sick-ass theme song, going on to low diff one of the goons. After that, while fighting Garlic Jr. with Goku, he removes his cloak again, but this time it's weighted for an even larger aura boost. You know, my own aura is heavily benefited by how many subscribers I have.
Oh
People
god.
look at you different when they find out you have 20k subscribers.
That is true.
If I could tell them I have 30 or 40k, would be pretty cool.
That is true, y'all. Hey, if you're still in the video, subscribe. Subscribe to the video, yo. Do it for the aura, please.
Now we can actually get into Z proper. Starting out, we see Piccolo standing on top of a mountain with his arms crossed. Raditz then shows up and disrespects Piccolo. At the risk of losing aura, Piccolo decides to kill him, but Raditz tanks his attack unharmed. A bit later, when Goku decides to go after Raditz, Piccolo addresses the group from the high ground and descends to make a truce. During the fight, Piccolo and Goku once again execute the cloak removal technique.
Oh my god.
Then during the fight, while Bumku has been lazy, Piccolo has mastered a brand new impressive attack that he uses to take out both of his enemies at the same time. Unfortunately, while Raditz is dying, Piccolo tries to gloat, saying Goku's friends will revive him, not realizing the other Saiyans are listening in. Accidentally sharing info with the enemy is of course not a good thing. Piccolo then decides to train Goku's son, and during that training, he casually vaporizes the moon, fueling the power scale community for decades. Following that, he commits to true aura farming. We see him telekinetically lifting a pyramid into the sky.
That's fire.
Learning to control the wind so his cape can always dramatically flap behind him.
No way, this is where he learned to control the wind for his aura farming throughout the rest of history. That's crazy.
Then he takes it to the extreme of twisting the land around him with raw wind power, all while meditating with his eyes closed.
This kind of pisses me off a little, bro.
He
what?
Tries to ascend past himself by separating himself into two with the multiform technique, so he can attempt to style on even himself. Meanwhile, Gohan goes through a journey to find his resolve, culminating in Piccolo, from the high ground, dramatically telling him to declare his mission, while using his newly acquired wind technique to control the waving of his cape. Later, while resting, Gohan is wholesome and says Piccolo's not such a bad guy, which forces him to lose his composure. That finally brings us into the big fight, where during the Cyberman battle, Piccolo casually vaporizes one of the men. Unfortunately, in this world, you either aura farm or get aura farmed. And in this case, the only farmer here is Nappa, dealing a major blow to Piccolo's aura.
Damn.
But when it looks like things are about to end for Gohan, Bro takes the hit for the homies, which is a max aura move.
That is a max aura move.
Here. And as you know, dying is cringe, so he takes a minor aura penalty.
Dying is cringe.
With that, we don't see Piccolo for a while, which means it's time for more movies. Just like last time, this one opens on Piccolo training in the mountains, who gets jumped by some knockoff Cybermen. Piccolo puts a stop to their attack
These
without
little
even
niggas,
facing
bro.
them, followed by him styling on them 1v4. Unfortunately, that's then followed by him getting jumped by a set of even stronger dudes, taking him out. Then, for some reason, Gohan just leaves him there? Going back home and not even telling anyone about what happened?
Wait, what?
Later in the movie, it's revealed Piccolo has been mind
Oh, I do remember
which,
that.
of course,
Why
is a
did
very
he do that?
negative aura kind of thing to let happen. But even under enemy control, he still knows the ways of aura, casually backhanding Gohan while not looking. Next up is the Tree of Might. We see Piccolo meditating in front of a waterfall, before later in the movie, where he pulls up to save Gohan, but unfortunately gets low-diffed. He returns for the run back later, but gets low-diffed even worse
Piccolo, I swear, Piccolo, stay wildin', bro. Hey, make sure y'all are drinking your water. You know, you need that. I got that deer park. If you have any thing to say about that, fuck you, okay? Plus, Piccolo be grilling. He only drinks water. Bro is just grilling for the fun of it, yeah?
Then once again, he pulls up with the squad for the third try, only to get brutalized. You know, I at least respect the effort. Goku ends up clutching out the win, and Piccolo returns to his waterfall to try and recover some of his lost aura. Back in the main series, there's no noticeable aura fluctuation until his revival on Namek. He appears immediately on the high ground, standing on business.
Oh my
on his way
god,
to battle,
of course,
he runs into Namek,
y'all.
who's so impressed by Piccolo's aura that he decides it would be best to just forfeit his own aura to further glaze Piccolo, which leads into his legendary pull-up on Frieza, assumedly wanting to show his protege Gohan how to make a proper entrance. They fight evenly for a while, but after recovering from one of Frieza's attacks unscathed, he telekinetically rotates a group of rocks around him, seemingly just to assert dominance. Then he reveals he's just been toying around with Frieza
bro, why is he always doing that shit,
dominate the fight. Frieza doesn't take too kindly to that, so he uses his full power as well to retake momentum, but Piccolo counters with his reserve technique of
oh my god, remove the fucking cape.
Disrespect. Now look at this from
and
Frieza's
the head too.
You've just been styled on, not once but twice, for the first time in your entire life. So Frieza is rightfully displeased, forcing him into his next evolution. And not forgetting how dirty Piccolo just did him a moment earlier, Frieza rightfully returns the disrespect. After that, he's out of his depth for a while, but he does still clutch up later, stalling for time so Goku can fully charge the Spirit Bomb, which wasn't pretty, but he got the job done. Alright, time for
+3,
where we see Piccolo, who seemingly has been meditating on this waterfall since the end of the last movie.
47, bro, I had to round it up, that's crazy.
On his opponents. Unfortunately for him, Gohan shows up with his trash mixtape that breaks Piccolo's concentration. Later in the movie, though, when Gohan is in trouble, Piccolo waits for the perfect opportunity to strike, masterfully intercepting them as they run in front of some dramatic lighting to accentuate his
this right here?
Finally learning his lesson.
That right there
doesn't allow the goons to jump him, leaving
Max
one
over
away
again,
so
of
he
course.
can pick them off individually. Look at this man posing while he retreats, going on to crush this other man's entire arm. Then after the fight, the goon tries to appeal to Piccolo, so our guy hits him with a fake-out handshake into decapitation. Unfortunately for Big Green, the squad isn't pulling their weight, so he has to once again tank an attack for the homies. He gets put out of commission and Goku takes over, but seeing as our boy isn't able to close out the fight, he joins in with an ingenious plan. He rips his own ears off, then has Gohan play his trash mixtape to Slug. Piccolo goes on to share a fraction of his aura with his boy, so he can close out the match.
Yes, sir.
Truly the MVP.
Step
now
into
it's
the
time
grand
for the
toll, y'all.
Jr.'s revenge. Starting out, Tommy can...
Hey, respectfully, if it's kind of messed up to say too, but you know, if you didn't watch Dragon Ball, you're gonna like Dragon Ball GT. It's not bad. I'm not gonna lie. Like, you know,
Piccolo has accumulated, so he offers the position of God.
This doesn't make sense.
But the responsibilities of being God would cut into Piccolo's aura farming. So without looking at Kami, Piccolo responds by blowing up a mountain and flying away. Later on, while Gohan is getting bodied yet again by another group of goons, Piccolo waits for the perfect opportunity to intercept. Of course, from the roof of Kami House. For
last moment save, of course.
Unfortunately, Piccolo gets jumped yet again by the goon squad, then becomes mind-controlled for the second time.
Oh my god.
Or does he? In reality, this was all part of Piccolo's plan. He allowed them to think they low-diffed him, but really he was just pretending to be under their control so he could get close and rescue Kami, who his life is connected to, reverting all previous aura into aura gains due to his masterfully executed plan. After that, during his 1v1 with Garlic Jr., it seems like he's on the back foot, but once again Piccolo is just sandbagging. He then goes on to mock Garlic Jr. by buffing himself up just like him, then explains to him why his transformation is auraless. Going on to absolutely pummel Garlic. Unfortunately, while the fight is going on, auraless Kami is losing his life force, and due to Piccolo's connection to Kami, he loses some of his own aura in response. Luckily for him, all of his work training Gohan
he was doing this shit, but then he got fucked over.
He's finally learned how to make an entrance,
he got
saving his master and securing the W in his place. Back in the main plot, Frieza's coming for revenge, and the gang is gathering. Piccolo, of course, takes the high ground, and even Vegeta has to respect his game. That leads into the
oh my god, even Vegeta has to respect this game. Oh my god. Hey, if Vegeta's respecting your aura game, then I'm not gonna lie, you probably do have some aura, because he doesn't respect anybody at all,
Piccolo shows
ever.
Up last minute to dramatically save him. Check. Then he gets jumped and taken out. Well, actually, no. They try to jump him like usual, but this time he just reverse jumps their entire crew, disrespecting the first guy with a cape fake out, followed by killing the second one with their own attack. Unfortunately, before he can the last one,
I remember that shit.
Up and takes him out. But at the end of the movie, after Goku takes out Cooler, it's revealed the last minion is still alive. So Piccolo secures the triple kill, finally taking out an entire goon squad by himself.
He had to do it, bro. That shit was fire when I watched it. And then he looked. No.
Takes us immediately.
He didn't add some aura points for this right here. This moment, he was drinking some water. Like I said, yo, make sure you drink some water. He was drinking some water out of a lake and then stands and looks at the sky.
Revenge, where while fighting robots, we see Piccolo
or farming into the sky, y'all.
Before building up a massive kill streak. It starts to look like there's too many robots, so Piccolo just lets them feel the full force of his aura. Next is Super Android 13, where Piccolo seemingly digs himself underground so he can rise up and reveal himself at the most dramatic moment. But Gohan nearly gets hit with a stray shot, forcing an early reveal. Then later on, just like in the Frieza saga, Piccolo redirects an attack that probably would have killed Goku while he charges up the Spirit Bomb. Then at the end, Piccolo tries to aura farm on a small iceberg.
With
but since there's only one left, him and Vegeta try to aura farm on the same one, negating both their efforts. There, finally back to the main series.
Negating their efforts?
Androids, once it looks like Goku is about to lose,
I think they're just hanging out, because they're low-key friends, you know?
Shot, which looks bad, but it was all part of Piccolo's plan to get past 20 by pretending to be taken out. Unfortunately, Vegeta steals his intercept, and as a result, what might have been a good chance to aura farm was taken from him, while also making him look bad. But a bit later, Piccolo tells Vegeta he needs to reclaim his lost aura by soloing 20, which he succeeds at very decisively, followed by him getting low diff for real this time against 17.
Oh my god, of course.
Now despite Kami being a bit cringe, Piccolo understands it's for the greater good and fuses with him before facing off with Cell.
Minus 10 aura for fusing with Kami.
Horror movie aesthetic. But Piccolo remains unfazed, going on to hit Cell with this diabolical spin kick. Following that, Piccolo pretends to be defeated, so Cell will tell him his evil plan. After that, he gets his run back with 17, which ends up being one of the toughest 1v1s in the series. Later
that shit was fire. That shit was fire.
17 in a minefield of key bosses, which, fun fact, this was never a named technique. Only the video games call it Hellzone Grenade. Nevertheless, it's an example of Piccolo's exceptional battle IQ. They then go blow for a long time after that. A lot of people think Piccolo would have lost if the fight didn't get interrupted, but I'm not so
meat right there in the stomach, bro. Their guts are fucked.
Throw out a massive
some vinegar
against Cell, which likely could have taken out 17 if Piccolo was able to land it. Unfortunately, though, this essentially marks the end of Piccolo's relevance in the main series for a long time. So let's dive back into the movies with Broly the Legendary Super Saiyan, where we see Broly absolutely wasting our boys. However, when Broly decides he wants to finish off Gohan, it's a Dragon Ball movie law that Piccolo will arrive in time to save him. So, the fabric of reality bends to allow for Piccolo to arrive in time, despite the fact that the movie takes place on a different planet and Piccolo was on Earth.
How did he... Nah, I'm pissed off with that. How did he even arrive there? I thought about that a couple months ago, but I never got my answer, bro.
Now, in actual...
How did he arrive on that planet, yo?
In the original version, Piccolo says he overheard Goku's initial conversation with King Kai at the start of the movie and complains about not being able to teleport. So, if we go through the plot from Piccolo's perspective, he essentially overheard Goku's conversation, then saw the crew go off to New Vegeta on Paragus' ship. Seeing the obvious trap, Piccolo goes to Dr. Briefs to secure a getaway ship, grabs a bag of sensu beans, then flies to the planet himself. Arrives just in time to bail out Gohan for the 100th time with his toughest pull-up game yet. Tells Vegeta to stop being a bitch, and then, as the planet is being destroyed, everyone escapes on Piccolo's getaway ship. Truly the MVP. The crew has no idea how much work Piccolo puts in for them.
That was fire. That was right. I didn't know he did all that.
The fight with Broly,
especially just for the farm.
The Saiyans, where Goku and Gohan go off to put a stop to a mysterious new threat. As they go out, Piccolo shows up to assist. Goku asks him how he can come, and Piccolo essentially says, "Bitch, I'm God. I see all." He then goes to deal with one of the gas generators, and the goon he fights is so intimidated by his aura that he accidentally blows up his own landmines on himself, destroying the generator. Meaning Piccolo's mere presence was enough to get the job done. After that, they go to fight the big boss, and as you know, it's Piccolo's contractual obligation that he must save Gohan at least once per film, so we get that here. Then,
at least
he
once per movie,
was the only one to think of bringing sensu beans, which ends up giving the remaining squad enough energy to clutch out the win. Okay, one more. So in Bojack Unbound, everyone is fighting.
The goated movie, the one I like, my favorite.
Once we get to the
Dragon Ball
finals,
movie.
We see Piccolo versus Krillin, where Piccolo doesn't face his opponent, nor even open his eyes. Piccolo's aura flusters Krillin so much that he nearly eliminates himself. And at the risk of losing some of his own aura, even being associated with the cringe Lord Krillin, Piccolo chooses to just leave instead. Later on, when shit gets real, Piccolo waits in the background until he's needed to save Gohan and hit a tough pose. Unfortunately, this is where Piccolo seemingly just vanishes from the movies entirely. And to a lesser extent, the series as a whole. Oh wait, in Broly Second Come, no, false alarm, it's just Krillin. Yeah, for some weird reason, Piccolo just
false alarm is just Krillin
after Bojack, not even appearing in the background. But it's worth mentioning Piccon, who for all intents and purposes is just a Piccolo stand-in, gets a big role in movie 12. But generally, Piccolo's...
Piccon, bro.
Now,
Piccon.
You probably want me to cover the Buu saga and then also Super, but listen, you don't actually want that. My boy gets nothing but disrespect for years.
Yeah.
I don't want to subject you or myself to that. So let's just pretend Super never happened. Sure, he gets some appreciation much later on.
In the
movie.
movie.
We'd have to dig through so much sludge to get there. Let's just end off on a high note by remembering Piccolo becomes the Warden of Hell in GT, which is tough as hell. On that note, I hope you have a great day.
I didn't know that.
See you next time.
I watched GT too, and I didn't know that. That's kind of fire, bro. Make sure you guys subscribe though. Subscribe to bro too, because that video is kind of fire. Damn, I'm still a little bit pissed off though, bro. I wish he made a little bit longer video, you know, about the Dragon Ball Super. You know, GT doesn't count. You know what I'm saying? But hey. Fuck it. But hey, what is Piccolo's most awful moments? Let me know down below in the comments. Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, comment on the video. What you guys want to see next, and I'm gonna catch you guys in the next video.